bitches.
With Tom Hardy carrying the mantle of the Venom symbiote, the character has come a long way in the live-action universe ever since it was first introduced in the 2018 Venom. After having a stellar run in Marvel Comics, Ruben Fleischer's direction brought the character to life on the big screen with great success, and what started out as a standalone film soon spawned into a trilogy. With Andy Serkis' Venom Let There Be Carnage and Kelly Marcel's Venom The Last Dance releasing in 2021 and 2024 respectively, the series has had a decent run with the promise of a new release every 3 years. And as we are halfway into 2026, the time is now ripe for a 4th Venom movie. But with no formal announcement about a new installment, I took it upon myself to deep dive into what's really going on. So without further ado, let's dive in. Where the trilogy left off, and is Venom 4 actually happening? While I'll get to the updates regarding a 4th Venom film, let's rewind a bit to the final sequences in Venom The Last Dance. The plot largely followed Venom as he tried to stop Null, the King in Black, the creator of the symbiotes, from escaping his celestial presence and returning to the Void, an act that will require him to get his hands on the Codex. Now, the only way to destroy the Codex would be through either Eddie or Venom dying. And the film ends with Tom Hardy losing his better half, or well, his slimy symbiote, as it sacrifices itself, destroys the Codex, and gives Eddie a new chance at life. In the process, many other Area 51 symbiotes were vaporized, and Eddie found himself wandering around New York City all alone. While Venom had often dreamed of visiting the city, Eddie ends up being the one living his dreams all alone, as he accepts the reality that the alien goo that made him whole is probably never coming back. However, his last dance with Venom might just not be over yet, and the film's post-credit scenes offer enough hints and set up the base for future adventures. The first of the 2 post-credit scenes begins with a glimpse of Null, the symbiotic warlord, who is the equivalent of He Who Must Not Be Named in this universe, as even Venom does not dare to say his name in anything louder than a whisper. As the film wraps up, Null breaks the 4th wall by declaring that our protector is gone, and director Kelly Marcel has confirmed that this is only the first of his many appearances. She further declared that he's the King in Black, and that he's such a big part of canon that they knew they had to introduce him, and Andy Serkis was more than elated to play the part. While Marcel was vague about their future plans with Null, she did say it was a joy to have the great Andy Serkis return to the series, and that they had a great couple of days shooting with him as he voiced the CGI-based character. Moving on to the next post-credit scene, the bartender from the start of the film turns out to be a survivor who had been hiding in Area 51 the entire time, and emerges from the debris as the alleged last man on Earth. Moreover, we also get a glimpse of a few drops of symbiote oozing from a vial that once belonged to Juno Temple's Dr. Payne, while a cockroach sniffs around it. Now, this might be a minor detail that one would typically brush over, but the comics had a Venom clone named Mania, whose story involved surviving a nuclear explosion by taking over a swarm of cockroaches. Moreover, Rex Strickland had noted that the Venom symbiote leaves bits and pieces behind because it wants to live, and by the end, at least one of them was found by a cockroach. This scene hints of Venom, or at least a clone version of him, using cockroaches to make his way to Eddie, after OG Venom had sacrificed himself to ensure that Eddie has some happy days ahead. Now, all this is just speculation, and the last time I checked, there is no live-action Venom installment on our way. After Sony saw the film's box office collections from $856 million in 2018 to $478 million in 2024, even Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel are aware that The Last Dance was their definitive finale. However, Sony has not entirely scrapped the idea of future Venom releases, and in a not-so-shocking turn of events, the studio has greenlit an animated Venom film instead. Since Venom has already made a few animated appearances in Spider-Man's animated series, an animated movie might just be the right move for Sony to shake things up for this character, especially with the kind of production team behind it.
What have you done? You tricked us!
The animated film, creative team, production journey, and what we know. While Sony's decision to greenlight an animated Venom film was enough to cause buzz among fans, the studio capitalized on the momentum the project had gained and went one step further by announcing that Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein will be directing the project. With their recent success with Final Destination Bloodlines, which turned out to be a surprise hit, the duo's horror comedy sensibility and artistic vision make them the perfect duo for a stylized, animated superhero project. They definitely know a thing or two about bringing in fresh blood to franchises with years under their belts, and Bloodlines definitely proved their capabilities in reinvigorating an age-old franchise. I couldn't be more confident in their ability to bring this project to life. especially with many live-action trilogy producers returning to the project as well, with Amy Pascal, Avi Arad, Matt Tolmach, and especially writer-director Kelly Marcel being named as producers. I'm sure the project is in the best hands possible. Now, while there are no writers attached to the film yet, Sony Pictures Animation has opened up a writer's room for script pitches, and we will have to wait a little longer before we get any updates on the release date. However, we do know that Tom Hardy has been confirmed as a producer on the project, and hopefully, he might even voice Eddie Brock. While this is mere speculation, animated projects definitely take a lot of time before we know any final details, and we might just have to wait a long time before any details are set in stone. In any case, Sony's decision to go the animation route allows them to keep the franchise fresh and relevant, and if their past trends are any indication, they might have another huge hit just like Into the Spider-Verse on their hands. Talks of Spider-Verse also raise questions about whether Venom might connect to the Spider-Verse universe. But since Sony Animation is tied to both these projects, we might just be blessed with some interwoven threads, especially since Venom has appeared in Spider-Man projects in the past. Cast details and plot theories, who returns and where the story could go. While we don't know much about the cast at this point in time, it would definitely be a delight to see live action characters return to the animated film as voice actors. With this logic, we can expect Tom Hardy to return as Eddie Brock and Venom, while Chiwetel Ejiofor and Juno Temple, Rhys Ifans, return as Strickland, Dr. Payne and Martin respectively. Moreover, Venom: The Last Dance introduced Andy Serkis as Null, who showed up as a last-minute casting call to play Null's voice on stage. With him already turning out to be a magnificent fit for Null's doom-filled voice, and Serkis himself talking about how there were talks about the voice acting going on as he's a big character, I think we can look forward to his return to the animated film as well. Now, moving towards the plot, all the talk about Null being the next big villain and Kelly Marcel herself confirming their plans for future Null movies hints that the character is shaping up to be a major antagonist in the film. Going by the live action's post-credits, the cockroach symbiote might just play a bigger role than one might expect and bring about a whole new host for Venom. While the scene cut off before anything major could happen, it was a clear indication to the fact that Venom had left a piece of himself behind, and that a series of new animal hosts might just help him get back to Eddie. Now, this does depend on whether or not Tom Hardy is keen on having more Venom adventures, but even if that doesn't happen, the film also has potential to explore other post-credit incidents, such as Dr. Payne bonding with the pink agony symbiote at the end, which possibly paves the way for a supporting arc. Finally, the film might also just explore another character who had taken on Venom's mantle in the comics, Agent Thompson, while he is introduced as a masked soldier who loses his legs in a fight against a xenophage in The Last Dance. Comic readers almost instantly recognised him from the panels where Flash Thompson loses his legs in the Iraq War and bonds with the Venom symbiote to regain his ability to walk and assume a new identity as Agent Venom. Perhaps the animated film might give Agent Thompson a chance to regain his legs and bond with the Venom symbiote as well, and focusing on a new character would only add to the franchise's attempts at switching things up. And on that note, I can conclude that while there are no future discussions surrounding a live-action Venom, preparations are in full swing for the character's animated movie. From potential plot points to cast, there's a lot to be finalised, but with a solid director duo and seasoned producers at the helm, I'm sure that the project will exceed all our expectations. Until then, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Sony's direction for Venom, and also hear your theories and storyline ideas for what might unfold in the film in the comments below.